step of data analysis, that was visualization of data and QC of data. So now we will move further and look at different aspects of analysis. The first aspect being NGS data assembly. If you remember the first stage lecture that we used to fragment our whole genome or the genomics data into small fragments, and then we need to assemble them to get your contigs and scaffold. In this session, we'll learn about how to perform this data assembly. This session will be conducted by Dr. Ketan. Huh? Trimming is same as filtering. You just change the arguments.
So those researchers who are dealing with the genomes are mainly interested in such kind of analysis. In that, what we are doing is that if you are interested in sequencing the whole genome of a microbe, you will isolate the genomic DNA, you will sequence it, and you will try to reassemble all the reads which you have given from the instrument. The approaches for assembly differs from the user perspective. So there are two approaches for the assembly. One is reference-based assembly, and the second one is de novo assembly. As it states, in reference-based assembly, you are taking a reference, and to that reference, you are aligning all your reads. So on the basis of your reference, you will have an assembly of your data. But in case if you are not having your reference genome, what you can do is go for de novo assembly. Now in de novo assembly, there are two algorithms which are popular nowadays, and these are the algorithms used for the framework of any assembly software. In this, we are going to take example of space. Now the space is on the lead Boolean graph algorithm. So let us understand how the lead Boolean graph concept will work. So in that, it will fragment your reads into different size of K1. And the selection of K1 will be based on the chemistry of your sequencing as well as your data. So if you consider AT, GC, TC, AG as your read, I am taking a small fragment of the read, but consider this as a read. If I want to prepare K3 mer, right? So I want to make a 3 size nucleotide fragment, right? Trinucleotide. The possibility of getting 3 nucleotide fragments from this read could be ATG, right? Then EGC, GCP, CTC, PCA, and CAG. In another scenario, consider that you are not knowing the exact position of this nucleotide, but instead you are getting your reads in terms of A, T, G, C, T, right? And your another G, C, T, C, and the third it will be T, C, A, G. So this is your original genome, right? This is your read 1, read 2, and read 3. When you divide this 3 read in K, like I did for this, what software do? Software will try to overlap this schema in such a way that they will get a continuous stretch. But selecting the next for the current schemer will depend on the iteration it performs. Like, let's say Yes. APGS one keyword, then TCA as our second keyword. So APG is our first and TCA our first. When a software try to find out any overlap between these two keywords, it will not find out. But when it gets the GCT as GCT, it will make sense that the software is now God. So it will go from here to here, then here to here. And with the help of that, help of these three keywords as APG, CP, A, right? So this is how your reads are arranged in this fashion in order to get full length of your stretch of the number of keyword they are utilizing. In this case, we are going to use our shotgun data, WGS data, which is generated from Antimicrobial. So by default, space perform assembly using different type of keyword of size. So that include starts from 33 to 126. It is not going to take 33, 34 like that, but in between there are total 4 keywords. So that keyword size it will going to take for the assembly. Okay?
This is debrusion.
Yes, debrusion. In the overlap, the concept would be slightly different, but the iteration and algorithm on the basis of they are overlapping or taking a consensus of the stretch will depend. Right?
So this debrusion graph is based on KMR.
Keyword.
KMR.
Yes.
That KMR may be 3, 4, 5, anything.
Anything, but that depends on
Our selection.
Yes. So the space is made for small genome only, right? If you want to do assembly of large genome, large animals, then it will give you the data, assemble data, but it is not reliable, right? This space is Python-based script, and it supports data that is unpaired read, parent read, and method reads, as well as from different platforms, Android, Lumina, Nanopore, like that. In the assembly part has that is meta space, plasmid space, metaplasmid space, and RNA space. And the name itself suggesting that the meta space is for metagenomic dataset, the plasmid is plasmid space for its plasmid space taking assembling of plasmid from metagenomic dataset, and the RNA space is of transcriptome assembling of, right? In the hands-on, we will have a test check whether your space script is installed correctly or not. So for that, we will going to run this command, that is space dash test. Right? If it runs correctly, then you will get a notification the installation of your space is successful. If not, then you need to go for your. After that, the common or the basic functionality of space is this. So the command space dot py space followed by your options that we are going to see in the help line. Then output directory, that is part of your output directory. So with that, we will directly jump onto our training, right? So please turn on your virtual machine as well as your Ubuntu system. So in that, try to look at the document folder. I have given you data to be used for the assembly, that is 2 STP1 good file, surround file, and RT file. As saying, this is WGS data of an organism having
This
quality.
this page should be from Prinseq only. Input data
Yes.
means after trimming the sequence,
Yes,
then
yes.
only we'll go for assembly.
That is the flow of that
First
you
queue.
Yes, first queue,
Prinseq,
first queue, and then space. If you want to do assembly, if not, then you could use another. Now, I am not going to cover installation part because it is too time consuming. So you have been installed with this space pipeline, right? So we will directly jump on to our space. So let's check whether the space command has been set in our home directory or not. So for that, we will space dot py, right? And then try with minus space. It is not running.
Double
Double dash.
test.
Command is space dot py space dash dash space.
You're not opening the terminal in the page itself.
You can open terminal, any terminal you, but for getting your samples, you need to be there in your documents and space folder. So try to open from that folder itself, so you did not need to provide your file name of whole part. Right? So go to this home document space. That name over here, open in terminal. Now document space folder,
Space.
Do space dot
Minus,
p1.
minus.
then space
Paste.
space dot py, right? Minus minus space. So if you give minus space, if you do any combination, it will not take. You will get that this is the basic minus space. If you give minus space, this it will not be minus space. It will not give you the successful of your result. So see, it is saying that minus space. So our this combination is working. Now we are remaining with this combination. Over here, what it says, this is the version of the assembler, and for usage, this command line. And what error I am getting, the argument minus space is for minus, P is for minus invalid.
Capital T.
Will not work. You can see I have tried the combination of minus to minus space. But and the whole time I am getting the same error. But if I am using space and then press enter, the command is working. So I hope you all have faced your space installation successfully, right? So what we are looking over here is space files like previous with, right? Now, while running any of your tool in the terminal, it is advised to go for to see the usage. So for that, what is the basic concept? That is use of minus h. So if you put space bar py and minus h and press enter, you will get ample amount of information which describes how to use your command or how to fail your command. Right?
Every time you have to type space dot py.
For once, not all the time, unless you have formatted your text of the system.
No single help.
So my information starts from here.
No.
So while giving minus h flag,
Not help.
it gives you can use the command like space.py followed by your options minus o followed by your output directory, right? It has section that is basic option. In minus o is output directory, right? Minus isolate. It says that this flag is highly recommended for high coverage, isolate, and multi-cell data. So if you are feeling confident that whatever you have sequences of high depth, you can use this command for an isolate, right? Then minus SC is for required for MDS single cell data. Let us jump on to over here. If you are using ion current data, you need to mention. So minus ion current will give that this flag is required for ion current data, right? And for input, -12 followed by your file name will be of interlaced forward and reverse pair and data. But if you are using only pair and data, then -1 will be your forward pair and reads, -2 will be your pair data. So while generating a command, we will use -1 followed by the forward read, -2 followed by reverse read. Like you use in Prinseq, -FastQ was for your forward, -FastQ2 was for your reverse one. By these are all our input. Here. Minus sender for file with sender rate, tech bio, right? Now the third category is pipeline options. Minus only error correction, minus error correction, run only with error correction without assembly. So in this pipeline, you will not do assembly.
How do you error?
Will read the assembled file, will check with your reads in order to minimize the error correction by stretching your bibliographic fragment. Because reads is going to give you a config, right? And config is going to give you a scaffold. So whatever the config they have generated, so in the error correction, mismatch correction, will again map your config to your reads in order to minimize the error correction. Minus careful is given to reduce number of mismatches and short indents, right? And first option, -T is for thread, number of threads. Your one is for suppose 2 threads, and when you open your file system, you will come to know that how many threads you are support. So here we are having 4 CPUs. So that is 4 threads, right? You can use. But it has the software, any of software has their own defaults. So by default value, so -T followed by 2 will be our pair for assembly, right? Another is -M followed by integer value, that is memory. The RAM limits you want to alert to that particular process. So according to the RAM allotted to this virtual box system, you can utilize 50% or 25% of the RAM for performing this command. The more processing power you allocate to this process, the faster it will complete. The lower you will go for, the more time it will take to complete the program. Again, minus k followed by the integer value. As mentioned, by default, space will assemble your parent preliminary data with more than 5 k-bars added one after another. But it will take more time in your case because the data which I have provided is quite big in size. So rather, omitting all rest of k-bar, we will only go for 33 k-bar size. Right? So we will also mention that it is of 33. The list of k-bar size must be odd or less than 128. This is the condition for that. Then, so this is about the parameters which we are going to use for our data set. But rest of the facts you can use and play with them according to the data set on your downstream analysis. So I have to mention you the parameters. Now let us start framing our command. So what was the basic usage? Space dot dy followed by options. So in options, we are going to use minus isolate. Right?
So this is basically for the bacterial genome.
Mostly because bacterial genomes are size of less than almost 4 MB. So this perfection we don't assembly using this for this organ.
It is not suitable for bacterial.
This is why it's widely used for this.
You cannot use for human.
Yes, the data it will give it is not that way. Followed by our forward rate, that is -1.
Isolate after space.
Space, yes. Use space.
After every argument.
Yes, after every argument, use space. -1 followed by our forward rate. So what was the name of our forward rate? That is 2STP underscore keyboard, right? -2 for our reverse rate. -1.
Isolate by space, उसके बाद minus.
Space.
Then file name.
Try to make use of tab button in order to successfully write the correct name of the file.
So if you don't use isolate, what will happen?
Isolate is given if your data is higher. If your data which you are using is more than data. We have additional assembly. But ultimately, assembly will give you an idea of how one of 30 the least number of 30 has adjusted one amount of 30. At least what will be done. Terms of the you will have difference. Using isolate option. After that, we are going to give processing that is -T to -M for
The sticks and how much are the by the stick.
Yes.
Thread,
Thread,
combination
thread.
of
If a chart thread up there.
Chart two CPUs.
Don't give all the threads for processing. If you have two threads, give one thread.
Four means small t. Small t space two.
M accused and what is
M is for memory, the RAM or memory.
memory?
Every whatever you are having, just give around 80% of it. You have, I guess, 5 GB around. Or then give 3 GB.
Please,
Error output.
output will be ignored. Yes, because our basic function says that we need to provide the output directly also. Additionally, we are going to give k size of 33. So minus k space 33.
Next.
We are going to use k size of 33 for this value.
AMR size is 33.
Output minus 4.
O minus 3 up Charlie.
Output.
Minus k means is for AMR only, not output.
35 odd number divide. Divide.
Yes, sir.
128 to the complete.
Minus k
Any odd
33.
number is
Why we are giving
127.
We are going to locate the file.
120.
Actually, we are in that only now. Oh, output, huh?
They say that there only.
There only.
Output you are giving in the same folder.
We are going to get the result in the same folder we are having our reads. So minus 4 give me this approximate time forward slash document forward slash space. Right? Don't forget to put AMR in order to save your time. Otherwise, it will take more than 20 minutes to complete the single command as per your system configuration. So all are done in here. Try to
Capital S or small s
and see what happens.
space small s only.
Yes. No, capital S. Home document is capital space capital.
Now we have to enter. Enter.
Those who have not entered your command, try to create. Okay. So let us see what was to that output. This was
Anywhere in any of this folder here. Paste.
the moment you enter output, you can see created a folder in output in my document space directory.
It is showing error t minus t double here it is showing minus t double 3 double
Minus t you need to give over here you need to give integer.
We have not given
for
number.
our-
No?
We have not given the thread.
No, not given number.
oh 2 threads.
Yes.
Can we add it in between?
No,
You
you
can
can
use left arrow key to go there.
go.
Yes.
Minus t space
To now enter.
space.
Right arrow key.
Output. Put it will show in document. It's output.
So all are successfully running the command? Yes.
Assembly started, K3 started, running, rates process, AMR, using info.
Means if we give the number data, it will be assembled.
அதான் மேடம் So before going into this, you have to process our files. No? You have to get, then you have to complete.
Starting from the operations, for 2 days, we ourselves do ourselves. Now I can do we are having reads that segments.
We can create a folder for this.
Not like that. You have sequence to which bacteria? Another reference. Now not this software.
We can do de novo.
Why you do Nova? We are not going to do reference based.
I can do any of them.
Why you do Nova? You don't have a
In reference, we do not have one gene, but the gene is very nice.
okay. No problem. It will say no. It will say the difference. We have. So if you have a reference sequence, so for
Reference is another software used for the assembly. NIRA. M-I-R-A. There are PWAs. There are various space assembly, genome assembly. But for small genomes or genome assembly, in case of especially for microorganisms,
we are going to sequence a very common bacteria.
Yes.
But we expect some alterations are there. Okay. Or de novo or reference based. Both.
You sequence your data, go for data space. And on the basis of which, try to find out which are the variation you have targeted, what you have achieved. After that, consider
That's what I have given one pastoral control data, for whole genome sequence. Now I am having that place. Before this, I have changed the files. Opening in desktop, it is not opening. Now I know the difference. Now I am having that. So we ourselves can do now.
in your computational system, it will take more time, but it will do.
Yeah, if you are having high-end system,
It will do. That is for sure.
I am having a lot of files.
Thank you for using over. Assembly over.
The second one, now run the files generated in the output folder.
Output.
We have given data. This way cannot open in this. Only master QC we can open. QC only can. I don't know that thing before. It is not opening. I also not seeing
They don't know.
I showed them he reported they will give them how to give a scope. Everything they should give. Usually they will 55 years. What they have done, how they have this is still the contains nothing is given. We have shown per base quality, per base quality, per sequence. Nothing is there. What is this? Where can we make sure I can this is only high quality paint that to them is total number of if it is human or since they have given this data in this detailed files.
They have already figured and cleaned also, but you need to inquire about
They mentioned the instruments they have raw reads, but they have started with raw reads, but they didn't mention which platform they use.
You can inquire very well. They will tell you nothing to hide about. I hope you have all completed your command. Now try to look at the file generated in the output or at the folder in which your data has generated. If you have not done output in your command. So over here, what one can have a look is that space.log. So this text editable file, you can very well open this file. Opening the file, you can have that this was the command given by you. Right? And at SRE parameter, that is K33, we have started assembly. So space file has started. Read line was 251. For K33 the assembly and this kind of data and followed by this. And at last, we open the output of the message with one. All this data which you are seeing is the same data which was running on the terminal. That the same log they have generated. Now, from this file, the effort.pasta. Yes, this file is of your interest. As the structure of FASTA file suggests, it starts with a greater than further line and identifier name. In the next line, you are having a sequence. So your first piece, right, or scaffold has this many length. So if you scroll down with the help of this scroll bar, you very well know that these many of are generated. Highest to the lowest. You need to access this a lot faster.
When it is assembled sequence.
So as we come down, there is a decrease in length.
Smaller.
Now we have to calculate
Now,
input here.
in case of the reels, we are using
You need to wait for command to finish to get the
So first length is 2,77,500. First one, and it covers about 68%. So it covers percent. So
In your free time, you can add or more AMRs and try to find out how many of countries or scaffold you are getting. Right? In case of Vivo, it's using SQ as your visualization software in order to extract out the statistic. The same way to extract out the statistic from this scaffold, we are going to use QAST tool. The QAST tool is available offline as well as online.
So we says the scaffold site. COV. That one okay. Then COV. What is that?
Yes.
So you
For each and every country, what is the average coverage or depth?
okay.
So we say that 10x coverage.
Ah.
So rather than the entire assembly, this is the coverage for this particular scaffold.
So having completed your command, right? So in your Internet Explorer, with your active internet connection, try to give a search word of QAST. That is quality assessment tool for genome assemblies. Browser.
So in outside this one also you can do, huh? Outside the event also you can do.
You can also do this exercise in your terminal. But for that, you need to install QAST tool in your system. But as your system has not been installed with the QAST tool, we are not going further with the terminal part. We are directly going to the online part. Right? So open this page. And from there, we need to be directed to new website. So it is written like, dear user, our website is moved to new site and new first page is here. So click here.
First web interface here.
Yes, the website has changed. So you need to be redirected to this page. So have you all on this page?
It is migrating.
Yeah, the web interface can be.
In that, try to navigate the web interface.
No, it's not going. Now only it has come.
Where should we go?
Web interface.
Web interface. Now scroll down the page and stop your page at quality assessment. Yes. Now choose the select file option and go to your document, space, output and scaffold.fast. Try to open this file.
Drag and put it.
Space, just one.
Drag and put it.
Space.
Output.
100 MB
How you take that?
That's only one.
Has a filter
So
with
let's keep
skip.
file getting uploaded in the server. Over here, by default, it is written that skip contigs shorter than 500 base pair. Right? So we will let the diameter set it is. Then it has selected over here that assembly which we are uploading is of. Allow them to upload.
Uploaded.
Default parameter.
So if your file size is more than 100 MB, we cannot do, huh?
Yes, because it is written that file size limit is of 100 MB.
So you will see how you can.
This is
I
2.9 MB.
ઓછો તો કરી શકાય અધરવાઇઝ તમારે એમ પણ કોસ્ટ તમે ડાઉનલોડ કરી ટર્મિનલ because it has also facility to use in terminal.
Okay, next.
So if you have uploaded 100% of your file, right? Try to press evaluate button.
Genome unknown.
Let it be
Evaluate button.
evaluate button.
So status in progress, report in progress,
Now over here
report in progress.
you will get a message, right? So it is in progress. The reports are visible only for you, right? And it will generate your report.
Time is running around. Time is wrong. It is from Europe, huh? It's 2.5 hours behind.
So try to refresh your page.
Does not come.
Try to refresh your page. So the message won't go away.
Okay.
And at the same place, if the in progress is not showing, then try to click that blue
That
button.
reports we have to open. Reports.
That is it will show.
Yes.
So
Hello.
Open the
context
context. Here it will show it. I think how many contexts are there. What is your 50? This data they have to give. Everything they have to give this.
So in the statistic, try to read out your statistic. That's in my case, I have 82 countries.
same.
The same.
The
Yes, it is.
number of countries in size more
All
than
we would get
what is
that
written in
no.
the bracket. This is the size of largest country. The total that is
Minimum that is
0.8 MB.
3 mark.
Three mark.
K3 will be.
but it will take lot of time.
So can we change that KMR size instead of 33?
Cannot
Should be above 33.
more table size to your list, right? To see what happens.
So if you put
Minimum is 33.
Minimum it is not like minimum 33. You can use any odd number that is below 128.
Oh, to 120.
so if you reduce the
When you give the minimum, you will come to know that for giving this data, one can use these table sizes for optimal
standardized.
So over here, the 950 is our 61, 67, 99. What is this? Over here in the below one, if you can read, the countries are ordered from largest to, right? So if you hover your cursor to this one, you can see that this is
Largest.
first, then this is second country. At the second country, it is a cumulative of first and second, then third, fourth, fifth, rest. See? Now, the total length of 2.8 MB, right? What is half of it? 1.4. So let us see it comes 1.4.
13th. 14th. 14th.
Here, right? So 14th country is your shortest country that cover at least 50% of your total size.
Then 50.
The size of your 14th country will be your N50, right? So your size of your 14th is 67,999. That is 67 kg. And the N50 is
14. That covers
Right.
the 50%.
So that is 14. And this definition falls same for N and L70. So N75 is the shortest country covering at least 75% of your total length, and that particular country will be your L75. So 29 will be your L75, right?
N means number of ways.
No, N50 is the, by definition, the size of the shortest country. So in
Which covers 50%.
It is arranged from largest to smallest. So at the 14th number country is the shortest country. Cumulative of that first to 14th country, we are covering at least 50 for total length. So the N50 will be the size of our 14th country. But the L50 will be the number that is covering the shortest length. That is our 14th.
So,
Yes.
L 5, L50 is 14. Which will be good?
The shorter the number for your assembly, because it directly reflects that your data is adjusted in very small number of, so the assembly is as good as the genome, right? In the genome case, you are not going to get only one file. Assign the genome followed by the coded sequence of your whole genome. But instead, you are going to get multiple number of country, but lower the number, good for the assembly, for the your analysis, what you are doing with your data. Now, what we is with the WGS data, but the same you can do with another one that over here is the, so we have done the WGS data, but if you have remembered, I have given you also for shorter data. So you can also run the same command with
By compressed file can be wrote. In space,
this space.
compressed files can be wrote. Compressed fast.
You can very well see and make out whether it is taking or not. If it is not taking, try to extract over here, you will get extracted file. So doing all this sorghum data with the help of space will be your homework for today, and try to discuss your results by among yourself in order to justify your result with different kmol size. Say someone has used kmol 33, someone has used size of 71. So try to share your results in order to get an idea that how assembly with the help of different size of kmol in your case, right? Another suggestion I would like to make is that the data which I have provided with you is quite nice. So it may possible that your you will take more time in order to complete that task. If possible, try to search how to split your files. Right? So my forward rate is of 154.3 MB. Try to split file in such a way that you will get a single file, split file of 50 MB. So you will complete your command in less time. Right? Don't force your system to in case. So I hope you will do your homework and come back to us. So this is it about this page.
It dash dash minus is equal to 89 data.txt data part prefix.
Right by yourself.
We still have some time for our tea break, so you can discuss your doubts or even practice we have learned so far.
Yes,
Right
try
now.
to run
Try with different cameras.
Same.
Different research. You can try with same data set using different camera.
That's what I want.
Open this. Output you total file. Speed test also you tell.
Why we don't take